All right, everybody. We're going to go ahead and get started. I'd like to welcome you to our Transact meeting here. And just kind of want to go through the roll call so we all are aware who is on the line before we go ahead and get started. But first, I'd like to ask, is there anyone new who's never attended before so we can properly welcome you? No, we're all familiar with how we operate here.
I'm new.
I, however, would like to
Someone just said
introduce
they would know.
Dominique. Dominique raised her hand, so thank you, Dominique. So Dominique is our newest staff member to the OBOC team. She is in the DBE program, and she is a DBE certification specialist. So she works alongside John Franklin and Lori Green, and also Paul Ndan for right now on the DBE certifications. Dominique, would you like to tell us a little bit more about yourself, please?
Absolutely. Hello, everyone. Again, my name is Dominique Madison. I am very happy to be part of the DBE team. I've been here now for a month. Prior to coming over to the state, I was at the city of Milwaukee, actually, in their Department of Employee Relations as a senior HR analyst. So this program is very new to me, but it's been very, very interesting, and so far so good. But yeah, thank you so much for having me. Very excited to be here.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much. So I'm going to go over the list of participants that I have just to so we're all aware who's on the line and where you work, what area, as well as what your role is there. So we'll start, and my apologies in advance. Help me with your name if I don't get it correct. But Barbara Sheedy.
Yep, Barb Sheedy. I'm the owner of MKE Iron. We're a union ironworking company in Southeast Wisconsin.
All
And
right.
yeah, thank you.
Thank you for being here. We appreciate it. Brian Whiff.
Yeah, Brian Whiff. Hello, everybody. Contractor. I'm with Peterson's, one of the project managers for Peterson's.
All right. Thank you, Brian, for joining us. Carlo? Are you available, Carlo?
Hey,
We can
you
move
hear
that. Yep, we can hear you.
Yep, Carlo Latchman Singh with Carlo Latchman Singh Sales, electrical wholesale supplier out of Minneapolis.
All right, awesome. Thank you for joining us. Elaine Ogilvie.
Hi, everyone. I'm Elaine Ogilvie. I'm the corporate EEO officer for ALM Holding. ALM is the parent company to Matthew Construction, who has several divisions across Wisconsin and Minnesota.
All right, thank you. Thank you for joining. Jesse Friend.
Hi there, Bureau of Aeronautics, WISTAD, Bureau of Aeronautics Labor Compliance.
Thank you, Jesse. And we have Lori, our faithful.
Hello.
Thank you, Lori. She certainly helps us get this meeting going. Michael Holker.
Hi, I'm Michael Holker. I'm the Director of Bureau of Project Development.
Thank you, Michael. Jessica Peterson.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jessica Peterson with Hoffman Construction. I am the Controller and DBE Officer here.
Thank you so much. Joe Davis.
Good afternoon, everybody.
All right. He doesn't have to introduce himself. We know CBG, right? He's certainly a great partner with us. Keisha Sutton, Prism.
Good afternoon, everyone. Keisha Jones Sutton with Prism Technical.
All right, thank you, Keisha. Brandon Lamers, our friend.
Hi, good afternoon. Brandon Lamers, WISTAT Bureau of Project Development Deputy Director.
Awesome, thank you. Laura Finley.
Hi, yeah, Laura Finley. I'm with Oneida Engineering Solutions. I'm the Transportation Construction Group Manager. My connection with this is more that we work with the Mentor Protege program with you guys.
Thank you. We appreciate that partnership. Madalena Maestri, FHWA.
Hello, I have civil rights for FHWA and recently also a local program delivery. So there may be a couple different ways to overlap. Welcome to you, Dominique.
All right. Thank you, Madalena. Matt Grove,
Thank you.
WTBA. Hi, Matt.
Hey everyone, Matt Grove, Wisconsin Transportation Builders Association, representing the highway contracting industry.
Thank you, Matt. Mike Nate.
Hi, everyone. Mike Nate, estimator at Kramer North America.
All right. Thank you so much, Mike. Paul and Don.
Good afternoon, everyone. Paul Nadan, Business Automation Senior here at WISDOT.
Thank you so much. Mr. Riley O'Donnell.
Hello, Riley O'Donnell, Bureau Project Development, Proposal Management, Section Chief.
Thank you so much. Ijoma O'Rourke.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Ijoma O'Rourke, Equal Opportunity Specialist, the DB office, and I also coordinate the bid letting.
Thank you so much. Kathleen Panic.
Good afternoon, everyone. Kathleen Panic, DBE office, and also GFE analyst for the DBE office.
Thank you, Kathleen. Thomas Platts, Max, I'm sorry.
No worries, it's confusing. So Max Platts, Aeronautical and Technical Services Section Chief with the WISDOT Bureau of Aeronautics.
All right, Roz Roberson.
Hello, everybody. This is Rosalind Roberson, DB Support Services Coordinator and Annual Event Planner.
Thank you so much. Sarah Janice.
Good afternoon, Sarah Janice, Integrity Grading and Excavating, heavy civil contractor. We have offices in Wausau, Madison, and La Crosse, and I'm the Executive Assistant to the President and the DBE Officer.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for being with us. Shannon Gayer.
Hi, I'm Shannon Geyer with London
Geyer.
Construction. That's okay. And I am the contract manager and DBE coordinator.
Okay, thank you. Becky Soderholm.
Yes. Hi, everybody. Becky Soderholm. I'm in the WISDOT transit section. I'm responsible for civil rights compliance, drug and alcohol testing, and I also do DBE goal setting and reporting for transit purchases.
Excellent. Tiffany Adelman.
Good afternoon, Tiffany Edelman with Rock Road Companies. I am our Director of Contracting Compliance, and I bring with me a posse today.
Great.
To my left, I have Matt Gardner. He's our Director of Construction Management. And to my right, I have Brandy Gessling and Robin Seamars with Robin's Trucking. And we'll be presenting and getting to talk more later during the meeting.
All right, awesome. Thank you for bringing those people and thank you for being with us today. Tim McMurtry.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Tim McMurtry, Executive Director, Infrastructure Business Development for National Association of Minority Contractors, Wisconsin Chapter, acronym NAMAC.
All right. Thank you, Tim, for being with us. Lucas Ward.
Hi, everyone. Lucas Ward. I'm the Construction Standard Officer for WISDOT Bureau of Aeronautics, and I also head up our bidding.
Wonderful. Thank you. And then last but not least, but at the back of the alphabet, Marquise Young.
Thanks, Tandra. Marquise Young with the DBE office, DBE utilization engineer.
All right, awesome. Well, we'd like to thank you all for being with us today. We really enjoy the partnerships that we have and your interest in the work that we do for DBEs and to ensure that opportunity is given for across the board for our DBEs. And we try to support them in any way that we can. So it's good for us to put our heads together periodically like we do so that we can talk about those things. And so the first thing we want to get into is we want to talk about attainment and utilization. So we will have Marquise, if you could present for us that.
All right. Thank you, Tandra. share my screen.
We can't see your screen, just so you know.
You can see it?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And present. Anyhow, so I will discuss briefly just where we are today as far as the end of this fiscal year, as far as with our federal funds. So I will highlight our DBE goal attainment, and it's through September 10th. And then also it does include the September bid letting, also modifications through the end of August, and also the consulting service figures through the end of July. And so with our fiscal year of our goal of achievement is 12.42%. And so that is on a triannual goal set that we set every 3 years. And so so the numbers that we have, just to give you an overall as far as our federal funding and DBE attainment. So as you can see with our Fed funds, construction, consulting year to date, so over $812 billion. And we have, as far as the breakdown with our DBE commitments with our consultant. And so those are dollar amounts that from those solicited projects that we have. So we have close to 20 million with as far as with DBE commitments. And also the end of the year, our overall goal was about $21.5 million as a goal. So we're still looking to receive 2 more months. And so hopefully we believe that we will achieve that goal as far as on consulting projects, our DBE commitments. And then as far as construction, so with those commitments on construction projects, those that come in at time of bid, so we're looking at over $87 million. And that's bringing us to a grand total with the consultant and also the construction commitment year to date. So close to $107 million as far as year to date with those funds. So as we sit right now, we're at 13.14% as far as meeting that goal. And so we are confident that we will finish this federal fiscal year strong with over 13%. And so just to give you a breakdown as far as construction at the time of let, so we're at over $68 million with that. And then the additional 19 million on that next box that you see, those are from after the project has been leaded and has been contracted. So all the different modifications that come in, additions, increases to DBE participation, even subtractions as well. But we're have over $19 million as far as all the modifications that come in throughout the year. And so that's where we get that total of over $87 million. That's that yellow highlight as well. So the bottom of the screen, it just shows just the estimate of the Fed funds as far as with construction, over 825 million, and then for consulting Fed funds, 173. So that's a little bit under $100 million as far as with the Fed funds that we have received throughout this fiscal year. And as just a caveat, as a note that all these numbers are subject to change based on monthly, the bid lettings, the commitment modifications, also federal fund updates as well. So that's sums up the DBE attainment and utilization report. And also, I do not, also there, over the last couple of months, there has not been any DBE opportunities to report as well. So any comments
So-
or any questions? Yes.
Yes, Marquise, there is a question in the chat asking about breaking the numbers down in terms of ethnicity and gender, as well as race conscious and race neutral. If you don't mind, do you mind me answering the question?
Yes, that's fine.
So I just wanted to say that we are we're nearing the end of this federal fiscal year. And so that data will become available. And we're hoping at the next meeting, we will definitely go through the amounts that are by ethnicity, and as well as what is race conscious and what is race neutral. We should have a better feel for that at that point. So thank you for the question, and the data is coming. Are there other questions or comments that anyone would like to make?
All right.
No?
Thank you, everyone.
All right. Thank you very much. So we will move forward in the agenda. And I believe, I don't have it in front of me, Lori. I believe Kathleen, are you next? No, that's okay. Kathleen will give us our GFE report, please. Thank you, Kathleen.
Yeah. So first, before I jump into the GFE report, I just wanted to kind of give a breakdown of some final bid letting numbers for fiscal year 2024. So we just ended our final let in September. So assuming all the September 24 projects are awarded and none are rejected, there will be 228 awarded projects with federal funds. Of these 228 projects, WSDOT received 872 bids, and of those 872 bids, there were 10 non-responsive bids. So that's just kind of like a big picture snapshot of where we ended up as far as bidding activity for fiscal year 2024. As far as the data that I will share for GFE, this is through the August 24 let. So through August 2024, WSDOT has 7 approved GFE requests. For September 2024, we had 2 GFE requests on apparent low bids in the Northeast and Northwest regions that are still under review. For fiscal year 2024, we again had 2 regions that did not have any GFE requests, and that remains the case through the September 24 let. And those regions are the North Central region and the Southwest region. When I look at the trending data for fiscal year 2024 as of August 2024, it is the eastern half of the state that actually had the majority of the GFE requests. And again, through August 2024, there were 3 approved GFE requests in the Northeast region. There were 3 approved GFE requests in the Southeast region, and there was 1 approved GFE request in the Northwest region. So overall, I consider this a really another successful year with GFE. It is evident that prime contractors have continued to prioritize DBE engagement at the time of bid, as well as throughout the life of the project. And that is all I have. Are there any questions?
I don't see any questions, Kathleen. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You are welcome. So at this time, we will go forward and we're going to have our prime contractor and DBE spotlight, and we're going to turn it over to Rock Road and all our guests.
Todd, I I see a
You do
hand.
see a hand. Oh, okay,
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
sorry.
sorry. Sorry to interrupt, Tiffany. I saw a hand up from Carlo.
Carlo,
Yep.
thank you, Carlo. I missed that.
Yep, are any of the good faith approvals, were they repeat contractors for good faith?
Good question. Off the top of my head, I don't know. I can, what I can do, is I can research that and I can put it in chat, kind of,
Okay.
throughout the meeting, but, off the top of my head, I don't know, but let me give you a quick answer, while, the rest of the meeting is going on.
Because, I think first thing as a business owner, when I hear, a good faith, it needs to be said that those guys need to be trained in terms of who is available, and it's not only within the Wisconsin DOT, they can reach across the aisle to several other contractors within the DBE community. So just keep that in mind, because sometimes these guys just keep coming back with the same old, and if you don't pay attention, these dollars just slip through our fingers. Thank you.
Thank you, Carlo, for your comment. And just to provide a bit of background on how we operate with the GFEs, each month, Kathleen does a wonderful job of reaching out to primes who and providing a bit of extra training to them if they're interested to help them navigate our GFE process and also the things that we're looking for, right? So we can prevent future GFEs. So when we have new contractors, when we have contractors who, maybe they weren't a low bid GFE, but they did request a GFE. So we do try to spend time there doing that. And we're super proud that over the last 5 years that, we used to be in the hundreds of GFEs to have it reduced now to only 7, and we're reviewing 2 more for this month to see where we land with those. But yeah, but I do agree with you. When we're always trying to look for more opportunity, right? So reaching across the aisle, reaching wherever because oftentimes, some of the specialty items that we need in Wisconsin, maybe they're not here. Maybe we could get it somewhere else on the border state or something like that. But
I just got one last question,
Sure.
Has the Wisconsin DOT ever tried to, tell these contractors, well, you are not responsive and maybe we will rebid that project? And I can tell you, using that language, you will see how fast these guys come up with supportive documentation. They'll go out because they're apparent low and they don't want to lose that position if you tell them that this job is going to go back to rebid.
So Carlo, our approach, and Matt, I do see your hand. We'll loop back to you in just a moment. Our approach is to try to have every contractor be responsive, right? So when we have information that says that they might be non-responsive, we go ahead and let them know what's needed. And not 99 times out of 100, many of them they do the things that are necessary so that they can be responsive. We want to make sure we always have good relationships with our bidders. And that we're helping them to be responsive so that, if they are a low bidder, they can get the contract. So that is the kind of relationship we try to maintain and have with them. Matt, you have a question or comment, please?
Just a quick comment, follow up. Yeah, I'm not sure, Carlo, where your concerns are coming from, but Just for Information Industries participated in this group for many, many years, sculpting this program. Done a great job over the last couple.
Yes.
So, last couple of years, things have changed, and it's a combination of a good job by the department setting goals, individual project goals that represent the project and the capacity. So, as a group, we're pretty proud of how hard we work as an industry and there needs to be a good faith process, and it's perfectly acceptable to federal highways. We don't have as many as we used to, but that that's a good thing. You need to continue to have a good faith process because sometimes project goals do not meet the capacity that's out there. So that's all I have to say. I just wanted to make sure that everyone's aware of the fact that we're pretty proud of what we've done working jointly. And certainly it's not an easy process, but I think we've done well.
Yes. And I would agree, Matt, and that's what I was trying to infer when saying that we used to have hundreds and for us to have less than 10 this year. We're pretty proud of the work that, and it's not just WSDOT, right? It's not just the DBE program, but it's our partners, all of us working to shape that. So yes, we're very proud of where we are and always looking to improve for sure. All right. Are there any other comments or questions before we move on to Rock Road? All right. Seeing none, you all can take it away, Rock Road. Tiffany.
Thank you so much, Tandra. Good afternoon again. My name is Tiffany Edelman. I am the Director of Compliance and Contracts here at Rock Road. I have been with Rock Road for just under 3 years. I also do some HR tasks. I'm our EEO officer and I handle all of our DBE paperwork. So I'm very happy to be here and was very happy to be asked to participate in this meeting. Thank you, Kathleen, for the opportunity to put together this article and highlight one of the projects that we worked on. So with me today, I have Pat Gardner, our Director of Construction Management. He is going to be walking us through the project and the work that we did on US Highway 12. And we also here at Rock Road have a long-standing, wonderful relationship with Robbins Trucking. We have the owner, Robin Seymours. Thank you so much for joining us. And we have Brandy Gessling, who is a dispatcher for Robbins Trucking, but also is a partial owner of Lucas Trucking, correct? Correct. Okay. So with that, I do have pictures of the project and the progress on a PowerPoint that I am going to try to share my screen and click through as they talk. Please know you did not hear anything about IT or electronics in all of those job titles I gave you. So with me if it does not work, but I'm going to do my best. And with that, take it away, Pat.
We have a lot of grace here, Tiffany, so don't worry.
Let's see. Nope.
We don't see your screen yet.
Yep, I'm working. Let's see.
Click that one on the left, screen one.
This one?
There you
Can
go.
you guys?
We can't see it.
Okay, but now we can't see you guys. So,
Right.
so
It's a black hole, right? That's okay.
You raise your hand. I can't see you raise your hand, so just feel free to unmute and chime in. We're really casual and back if you haven't picked up on that around here. So please, we welcome that. Go ahead, Pat.
All right. So as you can see, this is US Highway 12. It was Southwest region. It's about a 4-mile complete reconstruct south of Fort Atkinson, between Fort Atkinson and Whitewater. The design scope was to fix some horizontal and vertical curves and to just improve the deteriorated pavement. So we started the project in March of 23, completed it on time in November. Since we are kind of talking more about Robbins Trucking here, I put some fun facts of the quantities, I guess. So there was about 29,000 tons of hot mix asphalt, so about 1,500 truckloads. We hauled about 181,000 tons of base in the end, which comes to about 8,600 truckloads. We did recycle all of the pavement. There was asphalt on top of some old concrete. We crushed that on site, so that way it's not going into a landfill or a waste site. And then there was about 97,000 cubic yards of excavation, or 10,000 truckloads, and about 27 acres of restoration. Some of the challenges, we had to construct the road in 2-mile segments just to keep local traffic. So as you can imagine, with the EMTs and school buses, they got a hold of our superintendent, and we're talking daily to make sure that they could get through. Along with that came the weather. Obviously, if we saw weather coming, we had to make sure we got the grade covered to allow emergency vehicle access and the school bus, as well as the locals. We did run into a lot of EBS, or excavation below subgrade. We ended up with about 7% more. So we had another 12,000 yards on top of the 97,000, just because there were some super saturated soils down there.
I'm sure everybody understands what you're saying, but
Yeah.
I don't. Can you break that down a little bit more?
Break down
Like, what do you mean? Like excavation what?
excavation below subgrade. So
I don't
that's
know
when
what
you
that
have poor soils
Okay.
that can't hold up to the rock that we're putting down. So we had to haul another 12,000 yards away and bring in another about 20,000 tons of rock. So it made scheduling a little difficult from that standpoint, because you didn't really know how good the soils were until you started digging. As what I guess the other challenge which we face on most projects are the utility conflicts. This job wasn't as bad as some of them, but we did run into a few issues. The utility companies out there were actually pretty helpful on this project, and were kind of on their game to help us out. So a couple other notes. It was completed on time, as I already mentioned. And then this.
We like to say that as many times as possible. It was completed on time, guys.
Exactly. And then the Southwest region put this up for award for the 2023 Outstanding Highway Construction Awards for the grading category. Unfortunately, it didn't beat out the other regions, but we'll take the recognition from the Southwest region. As I mentioned, all the trucking that was on this job, Robbins was a key factor on this. We had, I believe, what was it, 3% DVE was the goal. I think in the end, we were just over 15%. And Robbins made up, I think, almost 50% or more of that 15%. We did use about 6 or 7 other trucking firms, as well as Hard Rock for saw cutting on this job. And that's what helped us achieve that 15%. Anything I missed? Anything you guys have?
Why? Well, I think Robin and Brandy have a fun, because you guys, this is right in your backyard. This project was.
It is, yes, it's right down the road from us. And it was in bad shape. Highway 12 was in bad shape. So it was a blessing that it got done.
But not fun for you to get around.
Not fun to get around. No, it was a long summer. But we're glad it's done.
Robin, anything?
This project only about a mile from where we actually live. So it was fun to see our trucks get to work that close to home and get the hours that they got. It was just a blessing for us all the way around. There's our trucks there on the project. Rock Road did a great job. It, like I said, it was a fun atmosphere, and we were proud to do it.
There's some more too. Yeah. I think I have one more slide of Robin's trucks there, and then I'm going to stop sharing. I didn't know anything else.
Not really.
Did you have anything, Pat?
I don't think so. Do you guys have any questions?
Any questions, comments? Anybody drove on the road? Love it?
Just a quick question. Congratulations on, I guess, 5Xing your DBE goal participation. Can you reiterate what was some of the keys, or what were some of the keys to you all being able to get the 15% total when the goal originally was just 3%?
I think a lot of it had to do, I was kind of talking engineer contractor talk when I was talking about EBS or excavation bowl subgrade. That definitely attributed to it because it helped overrun. I mean, I guess it wasn't good because it didn't come in on budget. I always like to say on budget, on time. But the soils that we encountered increased the quantities. Like I said, there was probably another 1,000 loads that had to come off for additional excavation and another 1,000 to 1,500 tons that had to be hauled in to replace that. I think that kind of attributed to the goal. And there was a lot of trucking. We originally had talked about using off-road trucks for a portion of it, and we decided that it was a better idea to use on-roads. So I think that's where a lot of the additional participation came from.
Got it. Thank you.
We appreciate the 5 times, but I know we probably don't always want to have the wrong, I won't say the wrong soil, but not the type we expected, right? But we certainly appreciate all the effort and all the extra. Are there any other questions? All right. Well, thank you, Tiffany and company. We appreciate it. Always appreciate hearing great success stories. You all help contribute to us all being successful in the DBE program. So thank you.
Well, thank
all
you
right,
so much. And special
yes.
thank you. I need to thank, I had to do a lot of arm pulling here, twisting, but okay. I am so appreciative to Robin, Brandy, and Pat for coming here and for talking. This is not really their jam, but I convinced it, and it only took a Jimmy John's lunch to do so. Win-win.
Where'd she go?
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
You got off easy. I think I would have asked for with Chris.
Don't give one.
Sorry, I don't. Yeah, I'm putting a bug in there, right? Sorry, Tiffany. All right, well, thank you all. We appreciate it. So with that, we're going to move on in the program, and we're going to have. I'm hoping that he's joined us by now. If not, we will go another direction. We're looking for Paul Conlon. Has he joined us, Lori?
I gave him a notice. He did not respond.
Oh, he's here because I see his.
He's on.
Oh, okay. Hey, okay. Paul.
All right, Paul. I don't see your name though. Okay, I'm confused. So yes, Paul, it's under C. Sorry, not under P. Hi, Paul.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going well. Thank you so much for joining us. So at this time, I know many of you are aware that, and actually maybe I shouldn't steal his thunder. I won't steal his thunder, but he will tell you more about the Blatnick Bridge project and how it relates to WSDOT. Thank you, Paul.
Well, thanks, Tondra. I appreciate the invite. I hope I'm hitting the mark in terms of the information I'm sharing today. If not, I'll provide my contact information at the end, and you can feel free to reach out whenever you find it convenient. We'll be working on this for the next few years. So once again, thanks, Tondra, for the introduction. My name is Paul Conlon. I'm one of the project development chiefs in the Northwest region. I was the guy, I guess, that drew the short straw that got to take over the Blatnick project and got myself a whole bunch of work for the next few years.
Congrats.
Yeah, the guy, sometimes you make dumb decisions in your life. So it is a really cool project, and I'm happy to share it. It's a Minnesota-led project. They are the lead agency, but the vast majority of the project falls within the state of Wisconsin boundaries. So I'm going to attempt a technological feat here. I'm going to share a video for you guys with sound. So I hope this works, and if it doesn't, it would be the first time. So.
Located at the southwestern tip of Lake Superior, the Blatnick Bridge connects Superior, Wisconsin and Duluth, Minnesota. The bridge has stood the test of time, and it's been an impressive fixture in the Twin Ports for more than 6 decades. More than 110,000 people live in these two communities, relying on this 8,000-foot bridge to get to work, school, businesses, and other destinations. Construction on the 4-lane Blatnick Bridge, initially known as the High Bridge, began in 1958 next to the swinging toll bridge it would replace. The structure opened to traffic on December 2, 1961. The original design and construction cost $21 million. That is more than $2 billion when translated to 2028 dollars. Today, the Blatnick Bridge, which carries I-535 and Highway 53 traffic, provides safe passage for more than 33,000 vehicles per day over the St. Louis Bay. The structure also provides mobility for local, regional, national, and international commerce. The area immediately surrounding the Blatnick Bridge, including Connors Point in Superior and Rice's Point in Duluth, is largely industrial and commercial. There is also a residential population on the Wisconsin side south of Highway 53. The Blatnick Bridge provides key access to the port of Duluth Superior, which is the largest port on the Great Lakes, the largest freight destination in Minnesota and Wisconsin, and the 17th largest port in the United States. The bridge, which is load posted for 80,000 pounds, can no longer accommodate oversized overweight loads, forcing those to either take the Bong Bridge or make a 160-mile detour. Jointly owned by Minnesota and Wisconsin, the Blatnick Bridge is nearing the end of its service life. The state's Departments of Transportation began planning in 2020 for its replacement. MnDOT, as the lead agency on the project, recognizes the significant impact from any unplanned closures or lane reductions on the Blatnick Bridge. Most notably, if nothing is done to address the bridge's deficiencies, the Blatnick is predicted to close in 2030. In 2023, the project team selected replacing the Blatnick Bridge on its existing alignment. This preferred alternative minimizes impacts to property and wetlands, provides shortest construction schedule, accommodates bicyclists and pedestrians, and is the lowest cost alternative. In January 2024, the project received a $1.05 billion federal grant through the U.S. Department of Transportation's Infra program as part of the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law. Both states have also committed $400 million each toward the estimated $1.8 billion project. The design-build delivery method will be used for the Blatnick Bridge replacement. The MnDOT-WISDOT team will complete the preliminary design, then the project will be awarded to a design-build contractor, and the selected contractor will complete the full design and build the bridge. During construction, this bridge project is anticipated to support 1,100 new jobs annually and an estimated 1.5 million to 1.75 million labor hours to complete the work. Creating opportunities for historically disadvantaged communities and worker safety will be two important focus areas. Major construction is anticipated to begin in 2026 and be completed by 2031. The structure is expected to be closed for most of the construction project. Construction will come with many challenges, including heavily contaminated soil throughout much of the project limits, a hostile climate, a volatile commodity market, a challenging labor market, as well as construction in a historically and culturally significant area. Native American tribes have also expressed interest in the project. Currently, teams are working on right-of-way acquisition and relocation of affected businesses. Fieldwork in 2024 includes additional geotechnical investigations as well as a foundation optimization study. It is time to rebuild this vital link. The new Blatnick Bridge will not only reliably connect both states, but provide a safer route for commuters, emergency services, freight, and regional traffic.
All right. Thank you for that. Let's see if I can advance my slides here the old-fashioned way. Okay. So, hopefully you were able to hear that, and you kind of got a little bit of a flavor for where the project sits and some of the challenges. Now I'm going to go over a little more details on where the project is and kind of how we're going to go about building it, and then maybe where there's some opportunities for involvement for, historically disadvantaged folks. So project. Okay. So again, all this information was covered in the video. Include that slide just in case the video doesn't work, and I saved you 4 minutes of having to listen to me talk. So, so basically, how did this project start? So, mid 2000s, we noticed a lot of section loss in the bridge, and so we recommended starting to study this, the structure itself, and through numerous studies, we really started looking at this bridge was going to have to come out of service around that 2035 timeline. And as we've continued to study and do our annual inspections, we were right. Right now, we're predicting 2030. If we did nothing, this bridge would come out of service. And what does coming out of service in 2030 mean? It doesn't mean that we're going to keep it open to 2 lanes of traffic in each direction through the whole duration up to 2030. More than likely, there'll be increased load limits and perhaps narrowing down to 1 lane in each direction. So it's not just a, shut off. We're going to try to maintain traffic over it as long as we can, but we are inspecting it on a regular basis. So in August of 2020, basically the teams that managed the project said, the bridge said, we need to move forward. We're going to study what it would look like to replace the bridge. So they started the environmental process. And that has resulted in alternative analysis and led us to where we're at today, where we have a recommended alternative that when we have a finding of no significant impacts that was signed by the Federal Highway Administration in March of this year. So we have our recommended alternative. We're moving forward with construction, and we'll talk a little bit about why we selected the preferred alternative. So the preferred alternative utilizes the existing alignment. It also provides a direct connection to US Highway 53 in Wisconsin. Historically, the Blatnick Bridge dumped right down into Hammond Avenue, which is a city street. And then heavy trucks and whatever, it would have to use city streets to make connections to the highway system. The new structure will include a shared use path, kind of makes that multimodal connection there. And again, it provides full access to the local road systems through a new interchange built in Wisconsin. The reason we went on alignment, because it really, if you're up here, this goes right through and cuts the heart out of an industrial area. The selected alternative in going on an alignment as much as possible minimizes the impact to both the property. They're not making more land in ports and on the waterfront. So minimizing and using the land that we currently had was a big factor. Also minimizes wetlands. All the area out on Connors Point and then the Minnesota approach, they're wetlands. It allows for one phase construction. We take the bridge down, contractor will work wherever they want. So they can bring in additional crews. They can use accelerated bridge construction techniques to try to accelerate the bridge, and they don't have to work around different phases to try to keep traffic open. So that we felt was another benefit of doing it on alignment. Again, closing the existing bridge eliminates, traffic getting around construction equipment for the most part. So, and it's also the cheapest alternative as well. So getting into what it looks like here. So kind of to find your bearings, on the left side is Minnesota and the right side is Wisconsin. This peninsula that juts down kind of in the middle of the bridge, that is part of Wisconsin that is called Connors Point. Between Connors Point and the mainland of Wisconsin is called Howard's Bay or Howard's Pocket. Howard's Pocket serves one of the larger lake freight service. So Fraser Shipyards services many of the Great Lake freighters, and they do the 5-year inspections to keep them in service. They also, I think the ship that you heard about maybe this summer that thought it hit a shoal or something in Lake Superior, that's now laid up at Fraser Shipyards. I'll murder the name, I don't want to say it, but they thought they hit a submarine or something. No, it's just old and kind of busted. It's laid up in one of the 2 dry docks that they have at Fraser Shipyards here. So in Minnesota, they have a large, it's about an $800 million project to the north or to the left in this picture, called the Twin Ports Interchange. So the Blatnick Bridge ties directly into that, provides access to I-535 through Garfield Interchange, which is shown in the yellow. All of the orange that you're seeing on here is structure. The yellow is concrete or asphalt pavement. The purple, I know it's kind of hard to see, that is the shared use path that's on here. The shared use path, to get your bearings, it's on the lake side of the bridge. Okay, so we're coming from ground level, and we soared up over 120 feet over basically between the Wisconsin and Minnesota state lines there. That's roughly the center of the shipping channel. And we've got a minimum of 120 foot clearance. I think our current design is about 126 foot clearance to clear the Lakers. You think that's way up in the air, and you think those Lakers are big, but until you see one go underneath there and there's hardly any clearance, it really kind of puts this whole thing into perspective. So currently it comes down from that 120 foot clearance. There's a sag vertical curve on the bridge. We're taking that out. We're maintaining as much clearance as we can up over Howard's Pocket. To get ships in and out of Fraser Shipyard right now, they have to take off the top, typically the radio mast and GPS, and reassemble it. So that limits the amount of traffic that can pass underneath that bridge. So we're going to maintain the existing and provide as much additional vertical clearance underneath there as we can. We're actually right now in the process of trying to widen that as well. That seems to be the biggest impediment to mariners right now. And then as you're moving to the right, all this again is orange. So the existing bridge is about 7,800 feet. The new bridge will be right around 9,000 feet, so almost 2 miles of structure. Basically it comes down into the as it's approaching historical connection to Hammond Street, it swings to the east and connects up to US Highway 53, which is this yellow route coming down this way. So this is US Highway 53, and it makes a direct connection to I-535 and crosses the bridge. All right. So this is the existing current approach as you're coming down the bridge. You're dumping right into a city street. To maintain connection to US Highway 53, you have to take really tight ramps that really cuts down and impacts the freight that uses this bridge. Here's a blown up view of the existing interchange. So it's an offset diamond interchange with multiple lane roundabouts. The pink and purple are connections with the local shared use paths and connections to local sidewalks. So we're making that connections for everybody, all modes of mobility. And then let's see, one other interesting thing is the connection of 53 southbound. It's kind of a ramp between the roundabouts. So everybody talks about it's a bridge. Yep. The main channel, it's about 600 foot main channel over the main shipping channel in the St. Louis River. The existing bridge is about 420 feet, or the shipping channel is 420 feet. So we're looking at 680 to 700 feet main span to clear the shipping channel and to be able to use the existing pier foundations as vehicle impact protection. Okay, so we have to have a little bit bigger structure. We're letting the engineering drive the selection for the bridge. Right now, there's 2 economical bridge types: tied arch, and this is roughly what the artists think it will look like, and then a cable stay, 3-span cable stay with 2 towers. So we're in the process of designing that right now. We're taking these things through preliminary engineering. And that should be completed in December of this year. Project schedule. So we got our funding this January. We talked about that. It's the largest infra grant ever awarded under the program. Talk about it. So we made the decision to do a design build. Numerous reasons. One of them is the time schedule that we committed to with the infra grant. we have to be under contract by September of 2026. And where we were, this was really one of the only ways to do that. Minnesota has a 25-year plus history of using design build. Wisconsin, we're still in our pilot program. So we're leaning in Minnesota to kind of help us through the process. So kind of here's a visual of where we're at with the schedule. We're in preliminary permitting and design right now. Procurement starts in the summer of 2025 with RFQs, and then RFP in December of 25. And then we'll go through the RFP process with a letting in June of 26. And we anticipate the first 9 months or so will be final design, and then construction taking place probably fall of 26 with main structure construction starting in 27. Again, here's those dates laid out in a graphic format or in a different format. Okay, so I know we're a few years away from major construction, but I know folks have been asking, so where do we typically see DBEs involved in the project? So these are the typical ones that we typically see: ironwork and concrete pumping. One of the reasons we're getting out here early is to provide more opportunities for either firms to grow, to get in here, to participate, or for prime contractors to look at ways to, break the work down into smaller packages so more people can have opportunities on the project. So again, this is what we typically would see. We're hoping that it grows. Design build. I talked a little bit about the design build and why we selected the delivery method. I don't want to rehash. I know we're kind of pressed on time. So here's a couple of the reasons. It's a major bridge. We want to make sure we had the designer along with us for the whole road, or for the whole process here. Soil conditions, basically all the soil out here is contaminated. There's cultural resource potential in here. This project is in the mouth of the St. Louis River and the connection to the Lake Superior. Historically, this has been a very significant area for trade, even prior to Euro-Americans coming in. So recognizing that there's a lot of cultural significance in there, that's an issue on here. We wanted to make sure that we were, moving forward, respecting that, and design build kind of helps us with that, I believe. So here's some of Minnesota's history with their design build. Again, I'm not going to go over that. One thing to be concerned, or not to be concerned, but be aware of, is the process here. So this is not, I don't think Minnesota's let one yet here with the open-ended performance plans. This one is going to be an open-ended performance plan. So they are the lead. They are learning as much as they can. Donder, you can probably talk to that better than I can. But I think Minnesota is out in front of this, and we'll be currently working on presenting at our 2025 summit here, and I think maybe talking a little bit more about the open-ended performance plan and how they're going to administer that on this project. So DBE, small business, again, a lot of this stuff happens later. We'll plan on having some meet and greets once the teams are known. And we won't know that until RFQ, so sometime next summer. And then historically, Minnesota has been, hosting meet and greets with interested firms and with the known project teams to try to make some of those connections. Although I know teams are already forming right now and having some of these conversations, and things like the event that's going on next week with Wisconsin Economic Development up in Superior, hopefully facilitate some of those conversations. So I know if you're interested in learning more about the project or potentially participating in it, Minnesota as the lead agency is hosting the website for the project. If you go into the website, and you can sign up for email updates on here. So that's probably the easiest way to stay in touch with any status changes on the project. And then there's also, you can provide, there's an interactive public comment area on here as well if you have ideas that you want us to take a look at or consider. So Pat Houston is the project director for the lead agency. I'm the project director for Wisconsin DOT. I will be sharing this slide package with you guys. Are there any questions here before I go?
Elaine?
Thank you, Tondra. Just real quick, I'm sure all of you know that, but just something that to be mindful of that I keep thinking about is, because this is a Minnesota-led project, our Wisconsin DBEs will need to get interstate certification with Minnesota to be eligible for credit, which thankfully it's a very streamlined process now. So, but just keep that in mind as we're communicating that. But also, Paul, so I was with WISDOT when the St. Croix Crossing
I
project
remember
went
you.
through. Yep. I don't know if that's good or not. But Wisconsin had separate LET projects for the approaches and things like that that were on the Wisconsin side. Do you have any idea what that potentially is going to look like for separate LET projects?
This is all going to be one big design build project. We've looked at breaking this project into smaller packages, and there really aren't a whole lot of opportunities to do that. The Minnesota approach, you go back to the photos or the layouts that I showed earlier, there was very little approach work. On the Wisconsin side, you saw the bridge basically going over the top of the interchange. And what you don't see is much of the road work being supported by mechanically stabilized earth walls. And there's very little laydown area for this project because we're building in the middle of an industrial area. So we're buying 7 businesses and relocating them. And that's basically all the land that we have for laydown and for the contractor to stage. So having 2 contractors working in there, the grading work is, I'm trying to find a project that's got similar quantities. Like I have got 3 interchange projects that we built in the Northwest region in the last few years in the $20 to $30 million range, and they're 25% of the earthwork. There might be a little bit of pavement, but that's not going to drive any innovation or the risk of breaking the projects apart. At least that's where we're sitting right now. So it's all planned to be let as one big design build project. We are embedded with MnDOT, making sure that we're following our statutes and the process in Wisconsin that we have to. But that's the current intent.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Paul.
Yes. Thank you, Elaine. You brought up a very good point about interstate certification. So I just like to share with you all how we're interacting in terms of the Office of Business Opportunity and Equity Compliance with MnDOT. So we're holding meetings, and we're trying to figure out, since it's a Minnesota-led project and it's design build, we are looking at the opportunities for our DBEs and how they can access. We know that this project, we have still quite a bit of time before any active work happens on it, but we want to certainly get ahead of the game. So in meeting with Minnesota right now, we're looking at their opportunities and how our DBEs can access even training opportunities that they have versus what we have, because we want our DBEs to be able to work, and get a piece of the pie here as well, right? Since it's a border state project. In addition to that, we're also working with them on labor, looking at, because, in this area, and especially for workforce, we want to make sure that, citizens of Wisconsin can also access the labor there. And so we're looking at what training opportunities they have versus what we have, what's needed. And so I believe a bit will be shared, especially at our annual event that Shiraz will tell us about a little bit later, but we're really hoping to have an emphasis there. So thank you, and we will also be highlighting the interstate certification process so our DBEs can be able to access the Black Bridge project. Are there any other questions? I saw another hand earlier, but I don't see it any longer. No. All right. Well, Paul, thank you. We know you're a very busy man. You were double, triple booked today, but you came and joined us and we appreciate it. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for the invite. Anytime.
All right.
See you on Friday.
Yes.
Said he was busy. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye. All right, so we're going to move further into our agenda. And so at this time, we want to connect with our stakeholders and see what they have for us. Hold on, I'm trying to. Only having one screen is hard. But so I don't know if we saw any representation from the American Indian Chamber of Commerce. Are you here? Anything you'd like to share with us if you are? Okay, I don't remember them checking in.
Well, this is Ann with Arrow Creek Construction. We're a member of the American Indian Chamber.
Sure.
And I really
Thank
don't have
you, Ann.
anything to talk about right now. I do know that there's a conference coming up. I want to say in October.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know the exact date. I can share it in the chat.
Right, I believe you're talking about the travel with the 21st, 22nd, something like that. But yes, if you could share in the chat, 'cause
Sure.
I'm not confident on those dates I just shared.
I will
All
do that.
right. CBG, Joe Davis.
Thanks, Tandra. Not too much. I mean, we have a conference, a joint conference with WISTOP and WTBA coming up next week, Thursday and Friday. And I'm glad to see that a lot of the folks who are going to either be facilitating or panelists, like Elaine and who else did I see? Sarah, Janice, and Tiffany's going to be there. And the WISTOP crew, can't forget the WISTOP crew, giving the final rule. But this particular conference is complementary to WISTOP's conference. And what it does is it gives us an opportunity to really kind of talk about where we're going at the end of the federal fiscal year. And it opens up the opportunity to continue the dialogue at WISTOP's larger conference. So registration is pretty much booked up. We'll be closing registration on Friday. We're almost to capacity for the truck talk that Paul Nadan will actually be facilitating. And then for the main conference, we're sitting at an no exceed capacity of 100, but we're just about there. We're about 98% there. So if anybody, I just sent out a notice yesterday about the conference. If you're interested, and I placed it in the chat, we'll be closing registration on Friday. So thank you for that. And thanks WISTOP and Matt and WTBA for their participation and their partnership on this.
Excellent. We appreciate your partnership. You certainly help us get messages out to DBs and be able to, inform them of opportunities. And so we appreciate that. All right, we're going to move on to FHWA, Madalena.
Thank you. Here I am. Thanks for those presentations too. Good to stay in the loop on those things for me. And Paul had mentioned the open-ended performance plans, which WISTOP had taken part in the Everyday Counts 7 initiative back in, oh gosh, was that last December maybe, Tandra?
I think it was
last
December.
year.
Yes, I believe so.
And so Ben Thompson, one of the alternative contracting engineers, had participated, and he's really done a lot with the open-ended performance plan and how that will work for WISDOT. And so coming up in November is another opportunity for WISDOT to participate with the division and then all of the other states that are in what FHWA calls the Mid-America region. So that's sort of like straight down all the way to Texas. Texas is in our region. So there's 12 states, 11 or 12 states that will participate in that. So WISDOT should be coming back with a lot of good information for working with their peer states, some of which have used the open-ended performance plan, some of which haven't. Minnesota will be hosting that exchange. So I'm sure Blatnick Bridge is going to be front and center there in those conversations. So that's coming up. Our tribal focus for strategic workforce development also continues. That's WISDOT and FHWA working together. So we did finally set a date for the peer exchange that will be looking at everything from NSTI, which is the National Summer Transportation Institute, starting with kids, getting them interested in construction, engineering, STEM, jobs that have to do with transportation, young age, based on the two native college and university campuses here in Wisconsin, and then looking at what other states are doing, looking maybe for a bridge that builds to the HCST, Highway Construction Skills Training, the very effective program that WISDOT has for certified pre-apprenticeships. So that is happening with WISDOT as the host in April, and I think 4 other states will participate. Once I know who they are, I will tell you also. And then another workforce update is just that the Milwaukee Workforce Hub that's been mentioned a few times, that originated looking at the lead pipe removal, which are big. There's a lot of work, but is also going to focus on other types of opportunities in any type of trade and construction, including heavy highway, and looking at ways to either emphasize OJT, so getting people engaged through OJT goals or local hiring preferences. So there are a lot of options there, but ultimately what that is trying to do is create or strengthen the overall pipeline of heavy highway workers, so that, yes, lead pipe work, but all of the other work that we know is out there. So that's a big focus, and looking at probably October now for the launch of that workforce hub. So those are a few updates I have now. Thanks, Tandra.
All right, thank you. Lots going on. And we certainly appreciate the opportunity to expand our knowledge and even share some of the great things that we're doing here in Wisconsin. So thank you, Madalena, for helping us with that.
Absolutely. Sure.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, we're going to move on to NAMAC, National Association of Minority Contractors, Wisconsin chapter, Timothy McMurtry.
Hey, Tandra, thank you, and good afternoon again, everyone. Just quickly, we have an upcoming 9th annual Construction Industry Business to Business Forum scheduled for October 10th at Potawatomi Hotel Casino. It will include presentations and panel discussions, along with business matchmaking and a post-event networking reception. You all are free to come on out. Registration is now open, and I think we might even have opportunities for additional sponsorship too, I think through the end of this week. If you have any additional questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'm at 414-305-7360. Again, 414-305-7360, or via email at timothy@namcwi.org. Again, timothy@namcwi.org. Thank you.
Tim, in case they're slow to typing like I can be at times, would you mind putting that in the chat, as well as what is the date? I don't know if I heard that.
October 10th.
October 10th. Yes. Okay. So yeah, that would be great if you could just stick that in the chat and they'll have it, and
okay,
make sure it's correct. All right.
Pronto.
Awesome. All right. Last but not least, for our stakeholders, we have WTBA with Matt Grove.
Thanks, Tandra. I don't have a lot to say. I mean, the one notable comment I have is that there's a relatively big October letting this year, which is not common. Probably will be next year, and then November is very big. So just for everyone's information, a lot of projects, a lot more projects in the program coming up this next fiscal year. Not dollar wise, just number wise. So represents a few challenges both for us as as well as you guys, I'm sure, when it comes to analyzing, but we're hoping that goes smoothly.
Well, thank you, Matt, for bringing that, pointing that out. And we certainly all will work together, right? That's all we can do. We deal with the cards we're dealt. All right. All right. Well, thank you. So we want to allow opportunity for anyone else who has anything. Well, let me go through our next meeting will be November 19th, a Tuesday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And in terms of announcements, I'll make a couple. And Roz, I appreciate if you can announce the annual event as well. But we, as Joe Davis pointed out, the trucking forum is next week on September 26th, the Thursday, and then we have the DBE roundtable the following day on the 27th at Wisconsin Dells. Registration is just about limited, so if you are interested in going, please reach out to Joe. And then we also want, I don't know if we have anyone from the Southeast region on, but we did want to highlight, let you all know that the Southeast region, they received a transportation award, and it was for their Zoo Interchange North Leg project. And so the AASHTO, when they went to the AASHTO Regional this year, Rebecca Burko and Scott Lowry, they were able to accept an award on behalf of the Southeast region. So we're super proud of that. So congratulations, Southeast region, and any of you DBEs who helped or contractors who helped work on that project. We appreciate it. So with that, going to open it up to anyone else who has announcements or things that they would like to share with us. And I do see Riley.
Yeah, thank you, Tandra. I just wanted to kind of piggyback on what Matt Grove had said. We do have a bigger October lighting that we did advertise, over 20 proposals, I believe. And then, as he also mentioned, it takes a big jump up for us, starting with the November lighting, and that's basically going all the way through May for the most part. So we will be busy, and we'll be under a little bit more stress, just getting things processed. So whatever you can do to maybe help on helping us along in those regards. If you need to get pre-qualified to bid on a certain month, we'd ask that you do that earlier rather than later.
Right.
And also for when we do advertise and there's an opportunity to get some questions and answers taken care of, get those out as soon as we can, so that if we do need to process an addenda, we can do that in a timely manner without having to go through an emergency addenda process. And then when we are working with you on the contracting ends of side of things and getting those awards out, just bear with us. November, we're looking to have close to 60 proposals put out there. So it will take a while to get through everything. We'll try to do the best we can and as fast as we can, but at the same time, we want to keep that quality high as well. So just thanks for that, and good luck to everyone.
All right. Thank you, Riley, for giving us the heads up, and we'll move on to Joe Davis.
Thanks, Tandra. I didn't want to raise a question, but I want to talk specifically to Carlo. And Carlo brought up a good point. And I just wanted to share with you the environment here in Wisconsin, Carlo. We have a unified certification program listing. And if you go through that listing, you will find that DBEs are certified, but they're not being utilized. And they're not being utilized because they're not participating in the process, meaning submitting price quotes. And WSDOT is aware of this. And they can't force anybody to participate and use their DBE certification, But it's incumbent upon us, those of us who are, advocates for DBEs or participation or utilization, that when you get that certification is just not a badge that you can put on your website. You got to actually start participating and submit those price quotes to prime contractors, because that also will reduce the GFEs that much further. So I just wanted to share that with you, so that if you have anyone that's coming into this space in the state of Wisconsin, or someone that's in the state of Wisconsin, have them start submitting those price quotes. I mean, Paul Nadan will tell you about BidX and also the Small Business Network. Those are good tools that DBEs can actually scale themselves up and build further capacity for themselves in order for them to participate and grow their business.
Yes.
So,
and so I do
thanks,
see
Tanya.
Carlos. I'm sorry, Joe, I don't want to cut you off.
Sure.
Finish.
No, I'm done.
You're
Thank
done.
you.
Okay, I'm sorry. My apologies if I cut you off. So Carlo, we'll allow just a brief maybe follow-up because your hand is up, but perhaps you all could talk offline beyond that. All right, Carlo, we can't hear you though. I see your lips moving. Could you unmute?
So,
There you go.
Something needs to be done. The bid process has got, a parent low bidder, and then there's several others. And, if guys are doing the right thing and trying to find DBE businesses to fulfill their contract requirement, and the guys who are parent low bidder are not meeting the requirement, it's almost the same as them telling the DOT, yes, you specified a 10-foot pole, but no, we're going to give you a 5-foot pole,
Mhm. All right.
That doesn't equate.
Yeah. Thank you, Carlo, for that comment. So Joe Davis, he works for the Construction Business Group. So if you need this information, feel free to reach out to me and I can, if you all want to have a further conversation, but thank you. All right. Are there any other comments or anything for the good of the whole? Hey, Roz, I was expecting you to say something.
Oh, I was waiting for you to say something to me. So,
Okay,
because
there you go.
was,
So we're in
okay.
sync now, Roz. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So our save the date for our annual DBE workshop and networking summit is January 29th and 30th of 2025. Some of you should already have received some emails from me as far as sponsorship and accommodations, getting your hotel. And soon we're gonna be sending out for what's next on my list of things to do. Networking and Golden Shovel nominations. I'm sending that out sometime today or tomorrow. So we got a lot of things going on. I'm in full planning mode now. We're gonna be setting up our meetings. I just drafted our first program, 2-day program. I don't want to show it to you yet because it might change. So we're moving forward with that. If you're interested in sponsorship, please give me a call, send me an email. We've already got HNTB and Michaels at the end of the one we had at our event that we had earlier this year already came up and said, Roz, we want to be major sponsors again. So we're okay with that. So we're moving forward with our planning. We already, some of the projects that you guys mentioned, Blackneck Bridge, the sewage, the sewer pipelines in Milwaukee, MMSD. So we're going to focus on major projects that's happening moving forward, coming up. So we're putting together a good program. So this is our save the date, and if you got, this is our website. So we got a 2024 recap of everything that we did this year. We got our sponsors, accommodations, and we're going to be adding for exhibitors and things like that as we move forward.
Sounds good. And January sounds like a long time away, but I just
it's around the corner.
It's around the corner. I remember it being September 1st. It seemed like 2 days ago, and we're on the 17th, so it's going to go fast. I would put a challenge out to our stakeholders, to our partners, everyone on here, with our Golden Shovel Awards. Consider nominating 2, right? Consider doing that. We would love for you to be able to do that, so we have a selection to choose from. All right. Okay. With that, I see no more hands. I think we had a wonderful meeting. Thank you for engaging. Thank you for attending. And we look forward to seeing you all next time in November. So you all have a good day. Giving you 30 minutes back. Bye-bye.
Excellent.
you.
Thank you. Adios, everyone. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everyone.